what's up, guys? This is Politics for Us. My name is Alicia. I'm your host today, and I'm here with the beautiful Jennifer, aka Jen, aka Jen Joski from This Ain't Society. Thanks for being here with us today,
Thank
Jen.
you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be doing first collab podcast, and what a way to do it with politics for us. I mean, feel special. This feels great. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you here because it's very hard for me to find anyone that wants to sit down and talk about politics. So I'm very appreciative of you. This is very refreshing for me.
Awesome.
So I'm glad you're here.
Likewise, trust me. Same thing. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Awesome.
So the reason why we put together this politics for us is because, again, there isn't that many people that have an understanding of what's going on in our society, and that's a big deal, especially right now.
Mhm.
Like, if you're following anything at all about what's going on, then you understand the importance of why you need to know these things. So this is why we put together the show, because we want to inform you all, the people, about how this affects us.
Mhm. Absolutely. I think one of the things with This Ain't Society, it's more so being able to really show my perspective versus what society say we should be doing or what we shouldn't do. So one of the things about it and the grammatic era is more so to put the emphasis on this isn't what we're not going to conform to what we should, how we should talk, how we should be. So definitely one of the reasons why I definitely chose that, and ultimately because this ain't that, and yeah, we can talk and discuss our things ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about why we're here. The orange man that is desecrating on every part of our nation, every part of our constitution, and totally taking us back to prior to 1960.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say make America great again, but we knew what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
He wants us to be slaves again.
Make America what it was before. And it's so crazy, right? Because we'll take 2 steps forward, right? And with Obama, right? And then only 2, right? Have to take that many steps back when you get somebody like this. And we're not talking about just an individual that's, it's a little something. The boldness of what he represents, of what his following, I guess I should say, the individuals that voted for him, which I guess they didn't realize what they were voting for until now. But just the boldness of it, the way that different individuals are feeling comfortable and coming out and talking, I would say reckless in those ways, it's crazy. It's really crazy, and it's stemming from that leader. And you can lead in several different ways, but the way that he's choosing to lead ultimately is setting us back so far.
And I'm glad that you mentioned Obama, because as many would say, Obama is like probably allegedly one of the main reasons why somebody like Trump was even able to come and run on the things that he ran on, because it's like we had our first black president, and let's be real, majority of Americans, and we ain't gonna say who, they couldn't take. Yeah. And so they by any means just felt like they had to get the country back any way that they could. They had to undo anything that this black man did, because there's no way that we got this far as black people. Because think about it, like, had there been no Obama, there would be nobody like Trump. Republicans would have laughed about this. It would have been unheard of.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
It was like a point had to be made, right? Because no one expected, I'm gonna be very transparent. My parents said that they didn't expect to see a black president in their lifetime. And so there's just a couple generations ahead of me. And so I don't think a lot of individuals expected him to win. And then to win in the way that he did, to have that movement in the way that he did, it was almost as if this was kind of being thought about all the way back then, right? even now you can say Democrats or whomever is going to come after Trump, you already know that this, what he's undoing or not doing, you already know that this next election or these next set of individuals that come out, whether they progressive or not, is going to be huge, right? It's going to be completely opposite ends of each other just because this is what we're kind of coming after. So it's scary in a way. But you know, I'm always a cup half full person. So I still feel like you know,
There's hope.
there's hope. I definitely do.
And that's important because we need hope in order to keep going. Because the minute that we lose that,
Yeah.
we lose.
Yeah. And I think us just kind of like right now, if we go deeper into, you know, the different institutions Trump has like that wanted to come into Chicago. We could talk about ICE, we could talk about the National Guard that was coming from Texas. Ultimately, that's not really, it's not helping at all, right? But it's not meant to help. It's meant to kind of screw up these different topics and kind of get these discussions going and ultimately just kind of make a play into a city that is very, very much so um, against every single thing that men stand for. So it's interesting to see. I've been counting down, like that's my thing, right? I know individuals are they have so many different ways to look at it. I've just been counting down day by day because I do not think he's going to pass anything to give himself a third term. So just count him down till he's out.
No, and I think I think when he got back in the power, which I kind of want to talk about too, but I'm gonna get back to that.
Yeah.
I think that when he got back into power, he really believed that there was going to be some sort of opportunity for him to go against the Constitution that would allow him to do a third term. But it dawned on him that that was just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I do think that that is the reason why we're seeing so many extreme things that he's putting in place now, which is deploying ICE and trying to deploy the National Guards to these cities that don't need them to be there. Because ultimately, I believe he wants to create a rise out of civilians
Yeah.
so that he can unleash martial law or the Insurrection Act of whatever year that was. We got to pull that up on the Google, but because he wants to be able to shut down the midterms, he wants to be able to hold on to that power legally, but technically illegally. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. I think what's unfortunate about the things that he's trying to do, most of it is illegal, right? But it's not until we get it in front of a judge to say you can't do it. But the fact of we wasting so much money on these type of things that is just the point of like that isn't that can't be done, right? So why are we even waste towards time, time, our money, and as if nothing else is going on in the world. So and that's the other thing too, right? It allows it doesn't allow us to really see, which we can't focus on mainstream media, which is kind of why we're doing our own thing. And you see so many individuals taking these steps to bring the news and the attention to their followers and things like that in a different way, because every news source will show the same story about Trump all day long, as if there is nothing else going on. And so that's another big thing. Like he's controlling it into a way that it's nothing but him, as if we have nothing else going on, or as if the world isn't like on fire.
I agree with that. And then also, let's talk about how mainstream media is owned by maybe a handful of people that are reciting the same scripts. And we're also not seeing a lot of the things that are going on as well. Like, how long did it take before we could see a protest, a Trump protest on mainstream media? Nobody was talking about that. I think ABC might have just started showing the protest that the No Kings protest the other day.
Yeah.
But prior to that, no one was talking about these main events that were happening. And it's like, why?
Yeah. Because it's control. We know why, right?
Exactly.
It's just unfortunate that you will have to come to a stream like this to kind of
Get your news source.
To get your news source, right? But I mean, in today's society, I feel like, hey, if that's just what it is, that's what it is, right? And that's, to me, like that was one of the things about like this ain't society. No matter what you guys are trying to tell me is important for the day, or I should be viewing, over and over again for the day. I'm not going to let society dictate what I'm going to discuss and how I'm going to inform individuals that look like me about what's really going on, because that's the thing. They don't want us to be, right? The
Mhm.
less informed we are, the least likely we'll, you know,
Be able to speak up, stand
speak
against
up, do
anything,
anything, feel a certain type of
have
way.
opinions, criticize the government.
So it's I mean, we get it. I think it's important that we are taking steps like this, right? That we're pushing this information out. We're getting individuals informed, because it's gonna get worse before
Before
it
it
gets
gets
better,
better. Absolutely.
but it's gonna get better for
It's
sure.
gonna get better. We hoping it gets better sooner than
Sooner than
later.
later. It might be a little later, but when that time comes, I think times like this is what really like shows um the type of people that we are, which we
Mhm.
already know, and we really don't need no more of this, right? We wouldn't have to go through nothing for our generation, the next, like we wouldn't have to go through any type of trauma, drama of anything for us to still not be working on what we went through. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's it's a time where you just like, enough is enough. But another one of my sayings, if we don't, who will, right? And so um depending on society, the school education system, to be the ones to kind of really inform your children, our children, about what's going on. It can't just be that, right? Like we really have to, we got to do it for ourselves, because honestly, no one else is. And so it's just, that's how it goes. You got to stick together.
We
Yes.
have to stick together.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about how Trump even got here. I mean, we kind of touched on it already.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like I said, I feel like Obama was one of the major factors of why somebody like Trump was even emboldened to be in power anyway. Um, but I feel like Elon Musk ain't getting enough smoke. I mean, at one point he was, but then you see he kind of disappeared off the scene.
Yeah.
Um,
They bought it. I mean, in every way that you could think of, right? Um, for the campaign that Kamala led, her book, 107 Days. I think that's the amount of time that she had from when she announced until the actual election. So shortest campaign in history, right? And kind of coming off the heels of Biden, which that's politics, right? Um, I really feel like if we didn't wait so long for him to say that he was going to
step
step out,
back.
to allow her
Mhm.
more time to step in, I don't even think we'll be here right now.
Right.
I just really don't. So it's just interesting in even in that sense, right? Because Biden was the sitting president and the one that was going to run. Democrats, y'all cool, we love y'all. You know what I mean? To a certain extent,
They
it's
aight.
it's it's you know, but it's like a rule of thumb, right? If the sitting president gonna run again, you, even if somebody is standing qualified and ready to go, you just kind of sit back and you wait that out. And so I think if we're talking about being progressive, all of that has to change, right? If someone is in and they just not a good fit, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
not, but even the fact that the Republicans re-elected Trump and half of them do not like what he stands for, like that just shows how the party system is just it's
Mhm.
played out is what I called it. Like
Yeah.
it's easy to conform to that, but we can go deep and we could try to, do other things. You look at some of these other
Mhm.
countries, it's not a two-party system. It's just you and I, and that's it. Like the in-betweens is nowhere. So
Non-existent.
it's it's ridiculous. It's played out, and I think it's time for, like, that is the stuff that we have to like really look towards, right? When
Mhm.
we're thinking about these individuals, election time coming up, like it's looking into all of that, and midterms for sure. Like you look at the numbers for midterms, it's crazy. But midterms for sure, because it's our local, right? It's
Yeah.
the things that affect us. It's the judges, right? That's voting to allow the ICE agents to stay in the city or kick them out, right? So I think all of that just plays huge parts, huge roles. And
Yeah. I'm hoping that we can get a midterms. I'm truly hoping. Hopefully nothing crazy pops off before then that
yeah,
that interferes with that. Because I do think that that is going to be the turning point.
hmm
to a more positive
Yeah.
future. It's going to take a lot of time for sure, though. Whatever direction we go in, whether that's Democrats getting, you know, the government back, we're gonna have some work to do.
It's
A
like
whole lot of work.
it's the work does not stop, right? So you get over one hump, you get Trump out the door, right? But then like um what did that like build up, right? And so then you
Mhm.
have those individuals that are coming in line, um, like young Republicans of America, how we saw that their stories got leaked. Like these are the future leaders
Mhm.
of all of this, right? And this is how they view individuals. This is how they view um, themselves as superior. Basically, like
Mhm.
looking at the messages and things like that, it is definitely a us and them type thing. And it's if you're with us, you're with us, right? No
Mhm.
matter what, you're with us, and everyone else is against us. It's ridiculous to know that some of these individuals hold positions or may hold positions
Mhm.
that are going to affect all of us. And you already know like how they look at individuals just based on the color of your skin.
Exactly.
It's
They've
yeah.
been plotting this for a long time. I will say that I don't think that people really understand just how deeply rooted
Mhm.
this country is in
Mhm.
racism, which is
Mhm.
why we're here. Racism,
Mhm.
misogyny, all of those things is the reason why that we're here, because how is it that we have an administration that has ties to
Babe.
uh has ties to Russia, who is supposed to be our sworn enemy, that
Yeah.
has ties such strong ties to
Mhm.
Israel? Just by saying that name, we might get canceled.
Mhm.
Like there.
It's crazy. It's
Mhm.
so crazy how it has become we look like a clown show. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
When the respect that America used to have, and I'm gonna say used to have because I just don't feel like we hold that way. We're very confident in what we do, right? So when you go into other countries, um, we're not always just off the strength of how confident and sometimes cocky we can be, right?
Mhm.
And then put somebody like this in power, it almost just fits all of the stereotypes that they had individuals
Mhm.
would have of Americans and how, you know, it's as if we're the best and no one is better. We're the smartest, but we ain't. And it's
Exactly.
just like, no, you know what I mean? It almost comes off as um bullying now, especially when it comes to this administration, when it comes to everybody else, when
Mhm.
all the other countries. It's almost like we're dealing with a child and we don't know how he gonna spaz out today at
Oh
night.
yes, everyone has to like tiptoe
Tiptoe.
around him because they don't want to start the next world war or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that we can laugh. It's laughable. It's so ridiculous that it's we sitting here laughing about it, right?
I have to laugh to keep from crying.
And that's the
Actually.
thing. But it's okay to cry too, because at the end of the day, that thing got to come out too. So I am a crier. But
Mhm.
I also feel like when you got to get it out, you got to get it out because then where is it going? You know what I'm saying? Where are we storing it? And so yeah, the fact that we sitting here and it's like, are we really having this conversation about this? Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes,
are,
we
because
are.
we have a president
This is
that is
exactly
a
what's happening.
34 count convicted felon who's accused of sexual assault and rape by over 24 women, including his previous wife, who has now passed, rest her soul, and that is questionable circumstances that
Mhm.
that happened. Also found civilly liable of rape by E. Jean Carroll in 2023, family who was sued in 1973 for violating the Fair Housing Act of 1968,
Mhm.
which prohibits the discrimination in sales, rental, and financing of homes based on race, color, and religion.
And it's crazy because everyone in that neighborhood, that area, when that was happening, like they all knew what type of individual Trump was, right? But those were the individuals that was there affected by it or that heard about it. This guy's a scum. Like he's a finesser, but he's getting money. It's not even new, right? As we're hearing about everything about him now. Everyone knew all this. Well, the individuals that were affected by it, the individuals around him at his time, they knew it, right? And you still allowed someone like this to rise to fame because that's what it was. Like this is a celebrity that
I reality TV show host.
And I mean, celebrities get money too, and that's great.
But
this
to be
is
the
a
president is
celebrity
insane.
that decided, you know what? I think I could run for president and win. And I think I could throw enough money into this campaign that I could buy enough individuals and, get this thing going.
And did.
And did. And,
And
did.
did.
And did just that. Twice.
Exactly. But which is why I also want to touch back on Elon Musk, because again, they have been plotting this for years, and that is where we have fucked up, because we've been sleeping. We have all gotten so comfortable in our everyday lives, like, oh, that was back in the day. Like, yeah, some racist stuff happens every now and then, but it ain't that bad. No, like, these people, you definitely do not give enough credit to just how hateful they are. They have been plotting. These people, there are people out here that want to see us back in chains, and people might think that that's, oh, you're exaggerating. No, they really, there are people that.
No exaggeration. That is, but you see it, like they're literally just passing this on to their next generation. So like them young Republicans that got popped off,
they are
for talking
prepping
like that. I'm sure their family, like they didn't just start being this way overnight. You know what I mean? So it's a whole thing of it. Just like we're preparing our children for the next generation and we're explaining to them that you have to be this way, X, Y, and Z. They're doing the same thing, but in a way that's constantly degrading anyone else that's outside of them.
Exactly.
Constantly. They think it's cool.
Yeah.
And then they try to throw church behind it and be like, oh, well, and it's, wait a minute.
Jesus ain't say that.
Let me tell you something.
My Jesus
you
didn't
ain't finna play God if you don't let them stop playing. Because like, how are we even allowing that to be something that's said? Like, that is ridiculous. But yeah, this supposed to be our same. No, babe, no.
Those people are not. Those people are not worshiping Jesus. They are not following his teachings. They are worshiping America.
Yes.
Which is why they're Christian nationalists. They don't worship Jesus. Not the Jesus who was an immigrant. Who needed shelter and who needed a place to stay and food and who helped the poor.
Absolutely.
You can't tell me this is these people. ICE would have detained Jesus and put him in a cage.
What are
and called him a leftist loony.
Yes.
So
yeah.
You cannot convince me that these are the people that we should be following. These are the people that are running the country.
But, that's the good thing about the Constitution. Get them in and get them out, right? Checks and balances. But to even know, right, even though that we needed a system like this, right? And not to say that they didn't have political issues, back in the day, but I wouldn't say like this. But the fact that we had to put checks and balances to ensure that some power-hungry, crazy individual does not try to become a dictator and just take over everything. It's like, yeah, that's what that's why we did it. You know what I mean? And for this administration to think that we can just go back on that is just insane. But again, not that insane because they would like to.
Oh, absolutely.
It actually do count. It fits with like that mindset and what they kind of have going. And so I think that's why it's so important to have platforms like this, to where not only are we just trying to educate individuals on, what's going on, but just making it comfortable, and we don't have to watch Trump get off this plane. Oh, like CNN, Fox, they will replay this clip over and over again of going up and down the stairs. It's so much going on in the world to just focus on. But yeah.
Yeah, and I also just real quick want to touch on what you said. You mentioned the checks and balances, but like, I don't think a lot of people realize that is almost out the window just about. Like, the checks and balances are essentially gone.
Yeah, it's
like,
sad.
I really don't think that people understand that. I was speaking with this girl that I know about this, and she didn't really know too much of what was going on, but she was very confident in knowing like, oh yeah, he's crazy, but I just feel like we have a government that wouldn't allow him to get that far, and I think that that's how a lot of people are, like, "Okay, yeah, but they're not gonna let him do
Mhm,
this, and they're not gonna let him do that
mhm.
because,
Yeah, yeah,
like, it's the government, they got it handled," and it's like, "No,
yeah.
no, you don't realize they were putting all this stuff in place back in his first term," and also people were like, "Well, we had 4 years of Trump before and it was okay." Like, no, you didn't see all the behind the scenes work
Mhm.
that he was doing, which
Yeah.
was stacking the courts
Mhm.
with loyalists.
So that
So that when he got back in power the second time, there are essentially nobody
yeah,
that would be able to stop him.
yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening. We have Supreme Court members, 6 out of the 9 of them are Trump loyalists.
Mhm.
And so what he's been doing is whenever federal judge shout out to the federal judges though, because they've been essentially the only people that's been like holding shit
Yep,
down
absolutely.
with these
We love the fair
absurd
judge.
executive orders
Yep.
he's been trying to do, these firings.
Mhm.
But what's happening is whenever he doesn't agree with the federal courts, he's been just letting them go up to the Supreme Court, who will
Mhm.
make the final ruling on these things.
And he got 6 out of
And
9.
he knows, like, well, whatever these judges don't agree with, I'm just gonna send it up to my
Please go to the
people, and
Supreme. Yeah.
then they gonna ride with me
I
anyway,
have
which we've
6
seen
I
happen
have
multiple
6
times.
out of 9. Like, his whole every time is it gets in the courts, he wants to get it filtered up to the Supreme Court because he know he got 6 out of 9. And it's just
Mhm.
it's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy, and if we can't trust the Supreme Court, like,
We can't
and at
though.
this point, like, people have to realize we are essentially the people with the power. Like, nothing is going to, we need to stop relying on the government, what
Yep.
they're going to do, because they are failing miserably. And it's up to us. We have to start getting out there and what they say, yielding our body to the resistance.
That's it.
Unfortunately, like,
That is
I
it.
didn't have on my bingo card of shit to do as an adult being a freedom fighter, but it's looking like that's what's gonna have to happen.
Yep. And I think that's what's so that's the good that comes out of situations like this, right? You get individuals that are just tired of what they're seeing, right? And while oh yeah, I thought I was gonna be a deep politician and I was going to school. I studied poli sci and did all that because I don't want to have to conform to what they you can't. Like you could get in there, but you're gonna have to scratch somebody's back or you're gonna have to sign off on something for somebody to push your bill, right? Even though what you may have to sign off on is totally against
What
what
you
you
believe
pushing,
in,
but you got to because ultimately
aka APAC.
you got to push what you told your people, what you told your constituents. So I have to. So that's the one thing that I didn't want to have to do. But individuals that are not necessarily passionate about politics had no plans on going that route. This type of behavior brings that out of everyday working people.
Mhm.
And ultimately, those are the ones to me that are affected the most.
That's the ones we need.
And those are the ones, them the change makers. They
Yeah, the
tired.
people that are just so sick of the
They
bullshit. Like, I didn't even
tired.
have this in my plans,
Yeah.
but you know what? I'm gonna have to,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna have no other future if I don't.
But it affects us in
So,
so many different ways. And I think that's the thing that, like you were speaking on a friend, um, not knowing is also affecting what's going on, right?
mhm.
And if we can't stand up, stand against, speak up, vote against what it is, which we don't come out in numbers for real. Like our numbers over the years is just not the best, right? And so again, voting rights, like just pressing what we have, we just haven't used it historically in ways that we should. But it's reasons associated with it. Like we know that
Mhm.
too. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I want to touch on that in another segment.
Yes.
But let's move on. So let's talk about this government shutdown.
Honey.
Cause I don't, and let's talk about what it is first and foremost, because I think people hear government shutdown, but they don't really know the reasoning behind it. Like, you understand that that means workers aren't going to be paid
Mhm.
and still have to show up to work.
Mhm.
So essentially what it is, a shutdown happens when members of Congress, who are made up of both parties, Republicans and Democrats, they can't agree on a bipartisan uh, agreement just in terms of funding for, how taxes should be spent.
Yeah.
essentially. They don't know how to agree on how your taxes should be spent
Mhm.
on federal programs.
Mhm.
Um, and so right now, that is why we are in a standstill because the Republicans want to basically make it so that all of our health care is our funding for that is cut.
Yep.
Democrats are trying to hold the line, and Republicans just haven't been in office. They
Yep.
haven't been there, and they refuse to show up because they aren't trying to give a single cent
A a
more
a penny.
towards anything that is going to help fund any of these programs.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting that we look at this data, right? We're AI driven. We look at all of this and we're looking at the data that's telling us, right? If we do not do this, this class, these individuals will have to, pay 2, 3 times more than what they're paying now for these different things. So data is great in so many other ways when until it's telling us, hey, we need to do something. And the fact that the Republicans control the House, the Senate, everything right now. And the fact that they're not even there, right? Because we get it, we shut down, but they're not done working, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So,
They're
like,
not
you
even
guys,
trying to come to
like,
a
it's shut down, but
agreement.
we need you guys to continue to push and try to work together so that we can, open back up. No,
No, they
they're
just
chilling.
completely refuse. So we
It's
just don't know.
And it's not even just them, right? It's that affects so many different offices, right?
Oh yeah.
IRS, Social Security, like it's so
Mhm.
many different offices that filters down to when we just have a government shutdown. So it's not just them. Again, it's trickled down to individuals um like us, right? It's
Mhm.
different offices that are closing, different things that's happening, and we're unable to just move the way that we need to because
Right.
of this.
Yeah. And so the biggest disagreement, I just want to touch on a few of them, is the ACA tax credits. So the Democrats are dependent on an extension of the enhanced premium tax credits, which were expanded during COVID and they expire then by the end of the year, which I already notated. Um, and for people who don't know what the ACA is, it's also known as the premium tax credits, but it's most commonly known as the Affordable Care Act.
Mhm.
And what that does is it allows for uh, like middle class
Mhm.
people to be able to afford their insurance
Yeah.
premiums. Like you
Mhm.
said, is gonna under what the Republicans are proposing, that's gonna like double, triple, even if they do not come to an agreement.
As if
So,
we're already not overly priced for healthcare in
oh,
this
we're priced out
country,
of everything.
and it's not high enough, y'all. Let's make it a little bit higher, right? Like I know
Oh, a
y'all ain't
lot of
making
it
it.
higher.
You ain't making it now, but you really ain't. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
who's going to be the ones, you know what I mean, to kind of stand up to this. So in this case, I can definitely applaud the Democrats for holding
Holding
standing
the
on
line, and I
business
hope they continue to hold the line too,
for a lot
because
of other stuff too, though.
yeah.
Like not
Oh
just
no,
this.
absolutely,
This is
absolutely.
good, but let's keep
Hmm.
this thing going for sure.
And just to
Yes.
put in context, about 15.9 Americans received this subsidy in 2024. So that's a lot of people that this is affecting.
Yeah.
That's 3 out of every 4 people
Mhm.
that receive this credit. Also, Medicaid changes. So the big beautiful bill, in that bill, it had
Triple
a
B.
lot of cuts to a lot of programs
Mhm.
in it. So the Democrats essentially want to kind of repeal some of those changes
Mhm.
because they know how detrimental that's going to be to your everyday working person. And not even just that, but lower income families as well.
Yep.
So they're trying to hold the line on that. Republicans don't want to sit down. We've literally seen clips of Republicans not show up to show up to work.
Yep.
Democrats have literally been posting
It's
videos being
empty.
in the office.
It's empty.
Doors are
No
locked.
one's there. I wonder where they at
Um,
though.
oh, wherever they're at, they are
What
having a
y'all
good
doing?
vacation on taxpayers' dimes because
Yeah.
they're still getting
Can
paid.
I get some of that?
They're still
Go ahead.
getting paid
Go ahead.
while our federal workers who are on the front lines doing their jobs every day are not getting paid and
Yeah.
are expected to show up. And as crazy as this sounds, there was even talks about how, well, according to Trump, that they're not even necessarily obligated to back pay them, which I think is so crazy to say.
I think they are. Trump just be
They are
talking.
obligated. No, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
But he's saying that they aren't because he's a lunatic.
Yeah. And I think I can't remember the last government shutdown.
I think that was like in 2000. Was it
it under him?
2008?
No.
Oh no, I think you're right. It was
Yeah,
under him.
yeah.
It was under him.
And so there were same thing, talks like that then, but like these different entities of the government, like they don't play, right? And so they make sure, like, although they may have to pump out and say whatever, is coming from him, those systems that are in place, like they make sure that those individuals are gonna
Get
get that back pay.
compensated.
Yeah. Even if it's whenever they finally decide to, you know what I mean? And it's still unfortunate and it's inconvenient to not receive
Who wants
payment.
to show up to work and it's like, even if I'm going to get
don't wanna show up
a back
anyway.
paycheck, like and a lot of them haven't, which was what, day 2, a lot of them stopped showing up to work at the airport.
Yeah.
Because they can. I said
It's
this
a
to
trickle down effect.
I said this to somebody. I'm like, if I was one of those people, I would not show up, and you would catch me Ubering or doing DoorDash, something where I'm able to get some money up front, because
that's real.
I don't know what type of shenanigans y'all got going on right now. And I guess and funny enough, like a report came out that that's exactly what they were doing. So,
But I get it. Like
that's the
I get it.
mindset right now, because who got time to be playing? No, it's the times are hard enough as it is. Everything's too fucking expensive. And you want me to show up doing a job that I probably already hate anyway.
Smile, be pleasant,
no,
and get paid for it. Like, come on, y'all. What are we doing?
We're not. So that leads me to our next point. Mike Johnson versus Adelita Grijalva.
AG.
So if you don't know, AG, I hope I said her name right. So forgive me if it's not correct. But if you don't know who either of these people are, Mike Johnson is currently the House Speaker. So he represents Congress right now, which I stated earlier is comprised of both Democrats and Republicans. They are in charge of the coin, the purse, power of the purse. Adelita Grijalva, she what is she? She is the Arizona 7th Congressional District. She won their 7th Congressional District in their special election on September 3rd. I believe that was. And so she is to serve out the remainder of her father's term in Congress. So her father was actually, what is his name? His name's Raul Grijalva. So he was in Congress serving his term. And I believe he was 3 months into his 12th term before he passed. So he succumbed to, I think it was lung cancer. So it's a significant time for her because she got elected and basically is now carrying on from when he passed. So she is to represent, I believe, a majority Hispanic community. And in that community, that I think Democrats have like a slightly higher advantage in their their voter registration. So anyway, the significance of these two people is because, what is his name? Oh my God, Mike Johnson. He is supposed to be swearing her in to Congress, and he has not. They're on break. His excuse is he does not want to swear her in until the House or until Congress comes to an agreement and they can reopen back up, which is complete bullshit. The significance of this is Adelita Grijalva. She would make the 218th signature on the release of the Epstein files once she's sworn in. So word on the street is Mike Johnson, he's saying he wants to do things the traditional way. He wants everybody to be there, blah, blah, blah.
She's like, no, swear me in, so I can go ahead and sign off. And he's not.
He's playing around.
He's
playing around. And that's another reason why Republicans are refusing to make an agreement with the Democrats, because they have been trying so desperately to keep these Epstein files under wrap. This is the biggest scandal.
It's gonna have to be the the biggest like
of
whistleblower
American
story
history.
ever.
It's the biggest scandal
Ever.
cover up in American
And
history.
it's nasty. Like it's not. It's nasty. Like,
and if you haven't been keeping up with by this point in time, everybody should know who Jeffrey Epstein is. What's the significance of these files? How there is word that Donald Trump's name is riddled throughout the files, along with other prominent members in society, and they are trying their damnedest
yep.
to keep it buried. They have been trying to erase his name, this, that, and the third. But the votes are here.
Yeah. This is happening because they know how I'm going to vote when it comes to this. So it's not even like it's a thing. Well, I don't know if that's the case. No, like it's very, very transparent, and everybody kind of know the game that's being played. Because he making it seem like they want to do it in a way that's celebratory to her, and she like, no, I'm cool.
Bullshit.
I don't even want no celebration, baby.
And then to say,
sweat me in.
And then he gets on that podium and he says, when somebody, oh my gosh, I forgot what reporter it was that called him out. Shout out to the reporters and the journalists that are actually doing their job by calling out the bullshit to these people's faces, because he said, well, when are you going to swear her in? And his little face turned as red as the Keebler elf that he is. And he's like, well, we could swear her in whenever she's ready and there's no problem with that and blah, blah, blah. Just to turn around and now again say, oh, well, we just want to wait till, Congress is back. Yeah. Everyone's back at work, blah, blah, blah. So, but why did you just say that whenever she's ready to be sworn in, you would do that? But now it's a different story. So
it's a finesse.
It's some nice smelling right. It ain't smelling right. And I think anybody that is hip to what's going on right now knows that that's the case. And the crazy part about it is the release of the Epstein files is something that everyone can just about agree on, Republicans and Democrats. They've been hollering, release the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Since forever. Donald Trump even ran on that, but his dumb ass, I don't think, realized that you're in the Epstein files.
I don't think it's the fact that he didn't realize it. I don't think he cared or didn't really think that he was going to be able to put so much fluff on top of that thing that it would never come out. So yeah, I wasn't even a part of that. I don't even. Y'all sitting there talking about somebody on the picture, like, no, right? You can't hide that. Like, you cannot take away those type of things. So
I think that is part of it, but I do think, because I just feel like he's such a narcissist and he's so arrogant. He's really clueless to what a lot of what's going on. I do think that maybe in some aspect he realized that he could be in there, but not to the extent that he is, because what was that, back in like April or May, Pam Bondi, if anyone's familiar with who Pam Bondi is, she is the Attorney General. She was the one that said, oh, I have the Epstein files on my desk, like, we're releasing it and blah, 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 until she took a look at the Epstein files. And word on the street was, she told him, you're in here. And from that point on, they sent the FBI, which is headed by Kash Patel, another Trump loyalist, of course. And they started redacting they have started to redact his name out of there. So I think that he did not realize, to some extent, like, oh shit, like, I'm really like in here.
True though, because he's not intelligent at all, right? Like, this is the road to fame. Was literally stepping on people, right? Finessing people. And like that's how he got there.
Oh yeah, his hatred for the others.
Yeah.
He was able to fuel that crowd. Let's be real, like, Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. Like, his ego wants him to be able to go down as that infamous character in history. Like, let's be honest. But he wants to be Schnittler. Somebody upstairs doesn't want the information to get out. Right. The information we will be heard. We won't be silent. No. All right. So far we pretty much touched on, how Trump got back into power, government shutdown, why that's a thing right now. Mike Johnson and Adelia Grahelia. Hope I said that right. AG. And yeah, that's about it right now, right? Do you feel like there's anything I'm missing? Anything we need to add
No, that was a
to that point?
great summary. We hit some really good topics, so we hope you guys were able to catch some of these gems, for sure. But thank y'all so much.
All right, guys. Again, I'm Alicia Speaks, and this is Politics for the Rest of Us.
You clip
Thanks
this.
for hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys, and we hope we see you in the next one.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this day's episode. And of course, thank you, Alicia, for having me. I've been able to discuss a lot, get out a lot.